Merry Christmas everyone, I hope you're having a great day, spending time with your families or your loved ones. Today I'm going to do a video about the Human Resource track Dominator and the famous Hoover sound that comes off that track. I'm going to do it on a VST plugin called Phutura, which is an emulation of the Roland Alpha Juno 1, which this sound came off, I believe. It was called What The patch. And this is how it goes, the track. This is what the original sounds like. So yeah, you get the gist on that one. It's famous from being like in old rave and techno records back in the day, and it's been used in like pretty much every genre of music you can think of. Even still today, it's a famous sound, as I say, and it's a wicked sound. So yeah, let's get straight to it. I'm using Fruity Loops for this. You can use any DAW that you want. And as I say, I'm using Phutura, which is a free plugin. I'll put the link to the download if you want to try this out yourself. I'm not saying that it's perfect, but I think it's almost there, this sound that I've made. I've synthesized it. I'm just learning about making sounds myself, and I'm no expert yet, but I'm just enjoying doing these videos. It's a bit of fun for me, and I hope I don't get too many negative comments saying, "Oh, it's not right" and all this, because I'm just having a bit of fun at the end of the day, making sounds and showing people a few techniques on how I made it. So, right, so this thing it comes packed with a few presets anyway. There it is, Phutura, and if I play some notes, there you go. You can hear it's got that. So yeah, there's loads of. I've done some presets anyway. I've done Duran Duran Save a Prayer on this thing as well. So the closest I've come to making this sound is on this preset, and we'll go through how I made it in a minute. But just listen. So yeah, that's how I managed to. That's what I've done to make that sound. Now I'll go through. I'll create a new blank patch, initialize the patch, and we'll go from the top how to get that sound. Right. So we start off loading up Phutura, and what you do is you go to the initialized patch down here. There won't be any sound until you switch on the oscillators on. So you've got the sawtooth, just a basic sawtooth wave there. What you want to do is, you want to take it to, in the top left-hand corner, you've got the names of the saw here, and you want PM, there you go, PMW, PWM even, which is pulse width modulation. The pulse wave as well you want is also the pulse width modulation one as well. So you're not really getting, you still haven't really got much of a sound yet. You want to take the sub up to the big square wave one, which is like that. So it still hasn't, and then you want to bring the sub level right up to 3. Now here's where the magic happens. We're nearly there. And now you up the pulse width modulation to nearly full. I just do it just before it gets to 100% because I think on the actual records it modulates a bit too fast if you put it too full. So it's getting there already. So what I did then is I've added a bit of noise because I noticed I had a look at a frequency analyzer, and I noticed on the actual Human Resource track there's a bit of high-end fizz, and so I've just added a bit of noise to get that. So take the rate of the LFO down because we don't want any LFO on there, modulation. No, we don't want any high pass filters on here. So take that down. A bit of resonance to taste, and bring the frequency ever so slightly down. So you're just cutting off a bit of the top end. Now it's on. So it's getting there. Right. Put the chorus on, which is a famous Juno chorus, and this will sound even closer. Right. Now, you want to modulate the envelope of the pitch, and to do this, you use the envelope here, which is the. I bring it up to about sort of 10 o'clock on the dial, about around there. Now, you want the amp mode to be on gate, which it'll tell you up here, gate. This means that the sound doesn't die off after you've pressed the key. You can hear now it's started. Basically, what this envelope, this here, modulates the pitch envelope amount, so that it'll duck, it'll go sort of thing, like on Dominator. So what you do is you bring the attack up, and if I show you what this attack does, you'll hear it. So obviously, if you go down, you don't want that much of a high. That's just the initial attack of the sounds. So there's a bit of a sweep into it. Then you bring the decay up. Now the decay, and then you bring the sustain below the decay. So that means it ducks down now. So the decay is how long, on this setting anyway, is how long the pitch takes to duck down. So if I up the decay, it'll take longer for it to reach the note that you're pressing. So you see that it holds. If I bring that down, it shouldn't take as long. You see what I mean? Right. So you want to bring that up, so it kind of, and then you bring the sustain down because you want the actual. This actually, for some reason, makes it does the pitch of the actual note that you're pressing to. So it's almost there. You leave the key track alone. Envelope dynamics range, just bring that up a bit. And that is pretty much it as far as the sound goes. I'll bring up I'll just load up a new version of this and get my preset that I made earlier, just to check that it's the same sort of thing. So I'll go through it again. So on the sawtooth wave section, you've got the pulse width modulation on both ones. It'll tell you in the top left-hand corner. You've got the sub as a big square. Both here and here are nearly on full, but not quite. They're the pulse width modulation rates and levels. Sub level right up, I've got noise level on 1 just to bring some high-end fizz into the sound. I actually said I'd take the LFO rate off, so I don't know why that's like that. Yep. Again, with the frequency on the filter, I've just slightly taken some of the high end off, and I've resonated it quite a bit actually, so you get this. So yeah, I've left all them alone. All the settings in the LFO key track envelope on the filter, that's all the same as it was when you initialised the patch. Again, and it's just a matter of depending on how long you want the pitch to rise and fall, it's up to you on how you set the envelope for it. So I think this is pretty close to the original Human Resource track. What I'll do is I'll load it up, and then I'll go through quickly the effects that I need, that I put on this to make the sound, because when you add the noise to the sound, it gives it a lot more fizz than you actually need. So what I've done is I've used VPS filter just to take out some of the low end rumble. Even though it's a nice sort of bassy sound, you don't want that much like rumble at the bottom end, so I've taken a bit of that out. I've also taken some of the highs out, as I've said, because now, if you look on the actual analyzer at the top, it's taken out some of that fizz, and also on here you'll see it. So then what I've done, after I've filtered it off, I've just EQ'd it slightly to taste. I mean, it's up to you on how you do this, but I've just, because I've taken away some of the high end, it did sound a bit dull, so I've actually added some highs again, but because I filtered it off, it's not bringing out that fizz that was there before. Taken some slight mid-range dip out of it, around 500 Hertz, and then I've rolled off again on the bottom just to make sure it's not. And what I'll do is I'll just write in the part for Dominator now. It's really simple. Whoops, that's the wrong one. So it's, I'll bring it, tempo is about 120-ish. So just write that in. So you're getting that sound. Lastly, what I'll do is, I know it's getting on now, this video. Lastly, what I'll do is I'll just write in the that bit. So, also I forgot to mention that you need to put it on mono. So at the top here you've got polyphonic or monophonic, and you want it on mono, so that because then when you play it, any notes it flies into each other. So yeah. Right, so lastly I'll just write the second part in for Dominator, so the so it's down there. So you get the idea. That's kind of how I've made this sound. It's not the greatest tutorial video in the world, as I say. I'm just having a bit of fun showing you this, but yeah, that's how I made this sound, and I think I've come pretty close to it. More videos coming soon. So thanks for watching this again. I know it's a bit long-winded, but yeah, happy Christmas.